stream it again. At least OBS says. Okay. Okay. I think the reason might be. Yeah, let's go there. Alright. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Back to streaming. Ooh, we got another viewer. Welcome, other viewer. How's it going? Yeah. Building a building, I guess. It's gonna be a big building. Really big building. Yeah. I think if you're from an earlier stream, the reason you're seeing this stream again is because my Wi-Fi sucks ass apparently, and I guess it can't keep a stream going for more than 3 seconds or 3 minutes. I guess I don't know. But yeah, welcome to the stream. I just ate dinner. I had some salmon. Not salmon. Tuna, I guess. And it was delicious. But yeah, welcome to the stream, you two other viewers. Talk and chat, I guess, amongst yourselves. Talk about something. Make my chat not boring and just a blank wall of text, or just not text. Just make it not a blank wall. I'll be happy. But yeah, welcome back to the stream. Building a building. I don't know what to talk about. I mean, I guess I could talk about the tuna I ate. It's pretty tasty, I guess. Pretty tasty. I don't know what else to say. Building. Oh, 4 people now. Hello. Well, welcome to the stream. Howdy. Hi, Mr. Quickball. How's it going? Yeah, I'm building a building. Look at that. It's going pretty good so far. Oh, hi, Liv. How's it going? Wait, Liv, don't you have a stream to get to? Yeah. But yeah, build, wait, but yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Liv. Real bro right there. Liv's my friend. Yeah, thank you, Liv. You're a real true broski. Breaking Bad. Walter. No, Walter. Jesse. Math and stuff, I don't know. Yeah, thanks for postponing your stream to watch, yours truly. Yeah. Yeah. Grind. But yeah. Yeah. Streaming. Yeah. Get, I don't know what to talk about. What do you mean wrong intro? That was the best intro. I think think that's that. I think that's Breaking Bad intro. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, also, thank you for making my chat look alive, I guess. Um, yeah, Eagles, Mr. Cookball. Hell yeah. Big Eagles fan around these parts. If you're a Dallas fan, go fuck yourself. Alright. Adios, Liv. Have a good stream. Alright. Later, Liv. Alright. Oh yeah. Chat, go follow Dragon Knight Live on Twitch. Is in the same username. But yeah, go follow him. If you yeah, go follow Dragon Knight Live on twitch.tv. Alright. Let's build this city. Alright. Eagles. Fly. Eagles fly. Score touchdown. 1, 2, 3. Fight. Eagles fight. Da, na, 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 na. Hit 'em low. Hit 'em high. And watch those eagles fly. Fly, eagles fly. On the road to victory. Eagles. Eagles! Yeah, Eagles. I love the Eagles. Saquon Barkley, my glorious king. Uh, it would have been cooler. In the Super Bowl, it would have been cooler if Sirianni actually put Barkley in more. But it was still pretty cool kicking the Chiefs' ass. Screw you, Patrick Mahomes. You know, grown tired seeing your goddamn face on every State Farm ad. And just like every ad in general. I swear, I see his face everywhere. Yeah, that's your girlfriends, the refs. I'm not from Philadelphia, but my mom is. And she has instilled a love of the Eagles and Flyers and all those other Eagles teams like the Phillies. So yeah, Eagles fan, major Eagles fan. Go Birds. Fuck off, Dallas. Sons of bitches. You know, cow sissies. America's team my ass. You know where America was founded? Philadelphia, Independence Hall, 1776, baby. Ain't got shit on us. When was Dallas founded? Oh yeah, way, way later. Like, fucking 1830s or some shit. Weren't even part of America, you un-American bastards. Can't even be America's team if you weren't even part of the 13 colonies, ding-dongs, dickheads. I should probably stop swearing before YouTube flags my video and takes it down. But yeah, what else do I say? I've gone on my rant about football and shit. I don't know what to say anymore. Except for, I don't know, to chat, make with the ideas. Make with the questions. Speak or something, I don't know. Talking to a bunch of corpses or something. my chat is dead. I think that the 3 viewers are dead. If you're not dead, at least say hi or something. But I think you're dead. Or you're just like you don't care or something. I don't think you should care. It'd be nice if you cared. Well, so I'm not. I, how do I resuscitate chat? Will, will blowing up those villagers over there? If will you say things if I blow up those villagers over there? Say something if you want me to blow up those villagers over there, because I will blow up those villagers over there if you say I should blow up those villagers over there. Uh, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna hold on. Oh, fuck it. But all right, let's go blow up some villagers, chat. They've had it too good for too long. Though I spawned them in. Oh yeah, I spawned. The reason why there's so many urban sprawl over here is because I got bored one day and decided to spawn in a whole bunch of villagers, and then I started collecting taxes and burning them down. But now, since chat, you don't want to talk, this house, the reason why it's being blown up is your fault. How did that not hit any of that? Okay. Okay. Speak, chat. Okay, so I killed some villagers there. Let's flee the scene this time. I just want to let you know, chat, that that was entirely your fault. Yeah. Chat, that was your fault. You didn't say anything. I told you to say things. If you didn't want me to blow up those villagers, you could have said things. Could have talked. Let me know you're not you're there or something. I don't know. It would have been nice. But no. You chose silence, and that's the reason why those villagers were blown up. Shame on you, chat. Shame on you. Damn. Yeah, shame on you, chat. You should have done, you should have said something, man. It ain't my fault those villagers and villagers died. Alright, now back to, oh, they all, oh, okay. Okay, now that everyone's left me. I don't think I should insult my chat until I have a large amount of viewers. Where the hell are you going? I'm gonna go check in on my viewer, or my friend Dragon Knight Lives channel. Should go say hi. Hey chat, you know who you should watch? anyone watching my stream? Oh no. Um. Okay, let's go there. I'm gonna turn that off. Oh, Jesus. Is anyone watching? Hold on. I'm going. Oh, hi, Mr. Quickball. Welcome back. I'm not sure how long ago you said that. It could have been just right now, and I wouldn't notice because I was looking at my friend's stream. But yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, welcome back, Mr. Quickball. You didn't miss much, except for... Yeah, yeah, I just built like another story or whatever. But yeah. It seems I now have 3 Twitch viewers. Uh, wait, why did I say Twitch streamers? Yeah, building stuff. I don't know what to talk about. And if I don't know what to talk about, I'll just say nothing, and it will be extremely boring for everyone involved, even me. I start feeling bad that I am not saying anything. Yeah. If you have something to, I don't know, want me to talk about, I guess, to tell me in the chat, or also blow up another village or something, I don't know. I don't know. Microwave noises. Don't you love microwave noises? It have gold cards. Oh, those gold cards. The Trump one. Wait, you're talking about the Trump ones, right? Like the gold Visa cards? Okay. Okay, the Trump ones. Um, I don't think it should cost $5 million for a visa. Um, yeah, I don't know why he's selling. I don't know why he's selling $5 million visas. Um, um, I think it's just a grift. He wants money, and I don't think people should give him the money for $5 million visas. Um, I think I'm trying to gauge how political I can get, because yes, he is selling them to the rich people. That I don't agree with. I don't think you should. I mean, like, it's not even like that much for a visa, I don't think. It's maybe like a few $1,000s. Um, like, I mean, like, rich people could already get in the country. Like, it doesn't take a complete rant right now. Complete rant right now. Like, I mean, like, if you want to see me go on a rant, you could say that. I'm not sure. I mean, if like everyone's gonna leave, but then again, I only have 3 viewers, so yeah. If there were like 100 people or something, D1 Corp. You, you think this is me crashing out? I haven't started. But yeah, if you want to see me get really, really angry at politics, yeah, just because I can get really insanely angry at politics. But I don't know my audience. I don't. Well, then again, I don't have an audience. Oh, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna crash out again. Hold on. I'm gonna take my anger out on this unsuspecting villager house. Watch this. Oh look, there's someone in there. Night night, buddy. You're not waking up again. Ah, damn it, he got up. Okay, but he didn't stay up. And that's the most important part. Anyway, let's get back to building stream. Okay, I have my okay. Is it okay? Is it just me, or is it just my end of the stream, or is my stream not making with the words? Is stream okay? Um, because my OBS says that my microphone's being caught, but I have my I have my stream on my phone, and it's cutting out a lot. So you can hear me, um, if you can hear me, type in chat, I guess. But yeah, okay, so yeah, I think it's just cutting out a lot. My Wi-Fi's shitty right now. I don't know why it just suddenly got shitty. Um, oh, they all left. Well, great. Don't you just love it when Wi-Fi gets shitty and everyone leaves? That's so amazing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn it. I am currently learning, like, in, I don't know, like, in English, or, yeah, let's start with English. In English, I am learning about, like, the Harlem Renaissance people, like Langston Hughes and all that, and all of them. And, what was my first period again? Oh yeah, Spanish, I'm learning, in Spanish 2, I am learning, uh, who was, yeah, imperfect tense, I'm learning imperfect tense, and like preterite tense and all that. If you don't know that, it's like, aber, or, well, it's kind of, it's like, it's like saying I am doing something, it's like words that end in ing, but like past tense and stuff, I think, I don't know. I don't really pay attention in Spanish. I mean, like, I pay attention enough where I'm passing the class. I just don't pay attention to what things mean. Like, I know how to conjugate. I know how to uh I know how to like write things down. I just don't know what things mean, which in when but in when you're learning a language, that's kind of a little important. I don't know about you, but yeah, I think it's just a little important that you know. But yeah, other than that, and second period algebra, I'm learning a bunch of BS. I don't like it. Um, it's confusing to me, and it's hard to explain because, oh, damn it, I did that wrong. Okay. Well, great. Okay, let's see in third period. What did I have third period? Oh yeah, physics. I'm learning about torque. See, it's like, I forgot what torque is. Once again, I don't pay attention enough. Even though I have like A's and B's, I still don't pay attention enough. Well, I pay attention enough to do the formulas, I just don't pay attention enough to like explain things good. Which, if I ever want to be a teacher, I should probably get good at, you know? But yeah, A push, AP US History, because I am a history nerd. I'm like, oh wow, this absolute nerd is taking AP History. But yeah, AP History, I'm currently learning about, like, the Cold War, like, 50s, like, all, like, the baby boom, stuff like that, like, the mass consumerism, 50s, like, the Cold War, Red Scare, and all that. Yeah, but yeah, let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I have, in fifth period, I have this, marine aquarium science class where, um, I I learn about like marine things and like how to build a like fish tank, like aquaponics and shit like that. It's a really fun class. Yeah, currently we are building our own mini fish tanks to house like some fish. But yeah, that's what I'm learning in school. I would say what I was doing in sixth period, but that was English, and I already said what I was doing in English like 5 minutes. Yeah, aquaponics is like, um, it's like, it's like growing, like fish along, it's growing plants and, like, alongside fish, like, like freshwater fish. So it's like you have one tank that's your fish, and another like grow bed where like your plants are, that is like they're either like suspended in water or like and like or they're like in like clay meat, like a hard clay media. But yeah, it's really cool. Like the poop from the fish go into the plants. That's what feeds the plants, and yeah, it's really cool actually. It's like a more sustainable like way of farming because like it uses a lot less water than traditional farming because, like, all the water in the system stays in the system instead of like evaporating out or like that's not how did I no don't uh but yeah, aquaponics is really cool and I like it. That is why I'm in the class. However, I don't like it enough to do it as a job, so I'm not doing it as a job. I'm just taking a class about it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Hopefully it catches on in the future and we can like move away from like traditional farming and more into aquaponics, which is far more sustainable and eco-friendly for the world. And in these new times with climate change and whatever, and like all these new droughts, California and stuff, we're gonna need it. We're gonna need that water. Um, yeah. But yeah. What else can I talk about? I, I don't know. I could go into what I'm learning in history, I guess, or more specifically, AP US history. It's what am I learning? Oh yeah, AP US history, or APUSH, as everyone likes to call it, is it's like your US history class or your normal US history class, but more like spread out. You like go into further detail about stuff. Like instead of like learning like oh like here's the revolution and then here's um like what was it like War of 1812. Here's what happened after the War of 1812 for like a short bit. Oh, here's the Civil War. Actually, though, I think for in a few of the normal history classes actually skipped the Civil War, which I don't know why they would skip the Civil War. It's a major war in American history. It's the one that freed slaves and proved that states' rights was just a phony excuse to enslave to break away and enslave people. But yeah, normal history at my school kind of skipped over the Civil War, and APUSH did not. And then like after, and then, but yeah, normal history goes like Revolutionary War, a War of 1812, I think, and then the years in between, and then skipped over Civil War, and then goes into Gilded Age, and then World War One, World War Two, and then all that and what have you. Whereas APUSH, we have a book, like a textbook we have, and we have to read from the textbook. Every week we have a quiz on the chapter we've read, and like the chapters they like go into more detail about like what's been happening or like what has happened at the time instead of it like just being like oh yeah um here's the Cold War here's this or here's the Revolutionary War and like, instead of being like that it's like here's like what how the Revolutionary War like happened. Here's how and why um the or like the people like or like the English sailed the seas to or like to like come over. Here's why and how of how the revolution like actually um succeeded and stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool class. I like it a lot. Currently I'm learning about 1950s era, which is like, like the baby boom, like communism, or like the Red Scare, space race, and all that cool crap. It's all, but yeah, uh, I think current, it's kind of hard to like explain this era, but I'll do the best I can. But yeah, um, so it's like right after World War One, if you know anything about history, 50 and World War, or not World War One, World War Two. I'm sorry. How am I in AP US history, and I can't get the order of major world wars right? Oh, hearts in the chat. Yay, hearts in the chat. Oh, there's 6 people. That's the most I've ever had. Hi, 6 people. You just got, you just joined, you joined just in time to hear me rant about or not rank, but explain AP US history, and I did that wrong. Okay. But yeah, so it's 1950s, right after World War II. This is like when people stopped living or started moving from cities like this into suburbs like you would see in Southern California. Yeah, the GI Bill. Let's see, what does the GI Bill do? Um, oh yeah, the GI Bill, really important piece of legislation there. Um, it was introduced by Truman, I think. Truman started it, I think. It was either Truman. Yeah, it was Truman. It was Truman. Truman was like, "Hey, I think it'd be cool if our soldiers back home, or the soldiers returning from war, was able to afford." Oh, okay, everyone left. Okay, I guess people didn't want to learn about post-war era. You uneducated hacks. I was learning you things. Wow, I guess I know my audience. Why is it? Why do you look like that? Okay, anyway. Okay, so I had 6 people, and then they all left. They all left. They didn't want to hear about post 19 or post-war, the post-war era of and Cold War shenanigans and whatever. I was gonna get into GI Bill. You just all had to leave. Ah, damn it. Okay, well, I guess I know that my audience doesn't want to learn about history. You, not nerds. If you were nerds, you would have stayed around, stuck around. Well, Mr. Quickball, they left and they're not here anymore to get called bad names. So, yeah. You know what? You don't want to learn history? Alright, you don't want to learn history. I was about to get into smart. Yeah, let's start. Oh, okay, I guess my viewers don't want to learn history, I guess. Um, well, that was the only thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm a history nerd. I only have one viewer. Why can't people just sit and listen? I want to talk about things. This is the most talkative I've been all night. This is most not quite have been all night. Let's see. What can I talk about now that no one wants to learn about history? Also, no one said anything in chat. No one's like, hey, don't stop talking about history, you freaking nerd. Like, oh no. That, I mean, it was either me ranting about history or, I don't know, saying nothing. I think the problem was that it was that I was talking about history is that I was starting in the 50s. Who starts in the 50s about American history? You gotta start in the colonial area. That's when you gotta start. Alright, no one wants to learn about the 50s if they don't know what's going on. Before then, alright, I'll just wait till viewers stroll in. I don't want to talk about Minecraft. Everyone who's watching my stream knows about Minecraft. Everyone knows what's going on. If they weren't, they probably would be watching a Minecraft stream now, would they? It stands to reason. Also, I am much more interested in history than I am about Minecraft. No, I don't want to talk about the building. What is there to talk about this building? I mean, it's sandstone, and it's that. Um, I guess I got the inspiration for this building off Reddit. Who wants to hear about that? No one does. That's all I have to say. I got this building off Reddit like a few days ago. Saw it on Reddit, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be cool if I built that. And then bam, I built it. I am building. I haven't built it yet. It's not finished. It will be finished. Maybe by like 9 o'clock maybe? I don't know. Possibly 9 o'clock. And just for the record, I guess there was 6 total viewers at one time. I don't know why there were 6 total viewers at one time. I don't know, maybe Liv's stream ended or something? Maybe Liv sent you all here? Or sent them here? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why oh, there's 3 people now. Alright, 3 people, if you want to hear me, rant or talk about history, say in chat, please. I had 6 people here before for like a solid 2 minutes, and then I started talking about history, and then everyone left. Because I don't think people want history to be talked about while they're watching someone playing Minecraft. But I think it stands. I think it's good about if people I think I want to talk. I want to talk. You know what? I'm gonna put in next time I stream. I'm gonna put in my description. We're gonna talk about history. That's gonna be in the stream description. Come hear me talk about American history, and it's gonna be American history because that's what I'm learning in school, and that's currently the most history I know. Um, I know I know like the basics of world history. I know like World War II and all that. I mean, like, I know more than just World War II. I don't just I know World War II, but it's like if I'm gonna talk about history, I'm gonna talk about stuff I know the most about, like the American history. I would talk about other world history if I had taken AP World History, but I did not. So, well, look where we are now. I'm talking about U.S. history. I think I think U.S. history is actually quite neat. I mean, you start at the Revolution, obviously. Well, actually, no, we start at Jamestown. Yeah, Jamestown. Yeah, Jamestown. That's where like the John Rolfe and all them. That's where they settled in uh in fucking Virginia. Yeah, it was Virginia. Yeah, all the way back in like 1600 something, I think. I don't know the exact date. It was a long time since it's been like maybe like 5 months since I learned about that or like read about that. But yeah, it was like sometime in the early 1600s. And the funny thing um, is that the English have been around in North America for a bit longer than people, like kind of like think about, at least to me, because like when I think about the English being in America, it's kind of like from 1621 with like the Puritans to 1776, and that's like it. And then I just get like astonished when like I remember that the English landed in like the mid 1500s. I was like, oh wow, the English were here far longer than I remember. Um, but yeah, I guess that's the cool thing about history. Oh, back to 6 people. Welcome 6 or other 3 viewers. I'm talking about American history, because why not? I find it quite fascinating, and you guys will too, if you let me ramble, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, I've kept three, three. Oh no, okay, they don't want to hear me talk about history, I guess. But there's still 4 of you here, which is more than I had just a second ago, which is cool. But yeah, 4 of you get to learn American history with me. American history, it's quite, okay. So I'm talking about what, like, oh yeah, Jamestown. We're at Jamestown. But yeah, Jamestown, that was founded by the English in either late 1500s or very early 1600s. But yeah, it was founded by John Smith, I think, And no, I am not making that name up. I think he was really John Smith. And yes, I know that's like the most average name in America, but he was a real dude who founded Jamestown. Well, I don't think he founded Jamestown. I think he was there for a little bit, like, well, not a little bit. He went to Jamestown, and he was like, "Oh, you guys can't even feed yourselves." Uh, he was like, "You know what? If you don't do some hard labor, you don't get food." Which actually kind of worked because people were like, "Oh, I want food," and so they started working, and people started not dying for a little bit. Well, it wasn't just that they weren't or that they were starving. It was also due to like the disease from like mosquitoes and whatnot. But yeah, because like yeah, Virginia isn't is you, if anyone's been to the South, you know how like hot and humid it is, like perfect disease ground. Like oh yeah. Um. So yeah, I'm not sure if you have been to the South. I've been to Virginia. Um. It's pretty humid out there. Perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes. But yeah, hot and humid, just how mosquitoes like it, and same thing like 500 or like a few hundred years ago. It's like hot, humid, and perfect for mosquitoes. So a bunch of people were getting sick and dying. But yeah, so yeah, Jamestown by like the end of like the first 10 years had lost like a good chunk of its population. Like a lot of people died. Like they had to keep if it wasn't for like the constant like shiploads of people going in all the time, like it would not have survived. Like it was not doing well. It was until like John Rolfe like came in and introduced tobacco and was like, here, plant this. Uh, yeah. John Rolfe. He brought in tobacco. In like in like the 1600s. They're like, oh wow. Well, at the time, the Spanish they had tobacco. Um, yeah, Spanish had tobacco, and then they were like, hey, this is really good. We like this. We cannot, under any circumstances, let the English or anyone have this. Alright, sorry, chat, for that moment of silence that I just had. My dad came into the room, and I didn't uh want him hearing things things. But anyway, yes. Where was I? Oh yeah, John Rolfe and the Spanish tobacco. Okay, so if you don't know this, or if you know a little thing about like the early like colony period in Virginia, um, like there's some uh tobacco. They grew tobacco. That was their cash crop. That was the crop that made all the Europeans a lot of money. But before they could get before that or before it went to the America or into North America, the Spanish had it. It came from the tobacco is originally from South America. And the Spanish they found it and they're like, oh yeah, and they were growing it and they're like, oh yeah, this is gonna make us so much money. everyone in Europe loves this, and they were like, we cannot under any circumstances let our enemies, the British or the French or what have you, get this tobacco, because if they get this tobacco, they're gonna take our source of money away, and we can't have that. So they made it illegal to smuggle tobacco seeds out of the country. Um, but that didn't stop John Rolfe, our buddy John Rolfe. We don't know how he was able to smuggle the tobacco seeds out of South or out of Spanish control, but he did, and that is the important part. Um, but yeah, once he smuggled it out of South America or out of Spanish control and got it to the colonies or to the colony in or to the southern colonies, tobacco really started popping off. Like people they were planting that shit everywhere. Like that was the moneymaker. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's Jamestown. That's down in Virginia. That's down in it's down yeah down in Virginia. Now we go up to the Puritans. Now you may know a little bit about the Puritans already, whether you know them indirectly or not. The Puritans are those like guys who were like wearing the buckle hats or whatever, like the Pilgrims. They were the Pilgrims. You know the Pilgrims. Everyone knows the Pilgrims. I should just call them the Pilgrims. But yeah, the Pilgrims. They were the Puritans, and they came from Europe. They came from England, and the reason why they came from England, you may know or think you know, is that they were fleeing religious persecution. That is kind of true. Oh, hi Rain, how's it going? I'm talking about American history, and you missed um the first bit about Jamestown. Now we are talking about uh the Puritans in what was it? I forgot what it was called. It's in Jamestown. Damn it. Plymouth. It was Plymouth. Damn it. Yeah, but yeah, they settled in Plymouth. Uh, that's where they were, the Pilgrims, and and you might know that that they were fleeing religious persecution, but that's only kind of true. They were really fleeing uh England because they wanted to persecute more people. They were like, everyone who was currently in England are filthy. They are following the wrong God. Um, no one here is pure. You have to go to a new world, out to this new land in America. Oh, that's sweet, man. But yeah, they were they were like, we must go to this new land and start our own society where we are free to persecute people who are not exactly like us. So yeah, you might find it ironic. Nice. Um, but yeah, you may find it ironic that the Puritans or that America is founded on religious liberty, and the main guys that everyone knows were focused on religious in uh what's um the opposite of what or religious freedom. They were for religious persecution. Um yeah, they didn't they when they got to the New World, they were like, there's a bunch of things you cannot do. And one of them is you can't celebrate Christmas. Oh Lord, how they hated Christmas. The reason they hated Christmas is, we're going back a few centuries here, is that Christmas for the longest time in England, it wasn't like the Christmas we know today, where you're like giving gifts and having the Christmas trees and whatever, kissing under the mistletoe. No. That's not how it was. It was depending on how you see it, it was a lot more Well, for one, it was a lot more dangerous, and two, if depending on who you are, it was a lot more fun. And what I mean by this is that instead of doing all the normal Christmas traditions that I just mentioned, people would get shit-faced, absolutely drunk off their ass, and walk around the city and go door to door singing Christmas carols. They would crown the king of dismay or whatever, king of chaos. And they would go around. It's like, hey, if you don't give us like beer and food and whatnot, we're gonna bust in. We're gonna smash up a lot of shit, and we're gonna call you names. And so yeah, that was Christmas. A bunch of dirty poor people getting absolutely drunk off their ass and going around demanding food and drink. Um, yeah, so that's why the Puritans didn't really like Christmas. That's why they banned it, actually. That's why the Puritans banned Christmas, because that is what it was. Just a bunch of drunk people going around and demanding food. So yeah, the Puritans, they also banned a lot of other stuff, such as like alcohol, I think. Um, I forgot what else they banned, but they banned a lot. But yeah. Um, yeah, so the Puritans, they actually were able to not die as much as the people in Jamestown, because like like the air and stuff, it wasn't like good mosquito air. Like they wouldn't die of like malaria and stuff. They actually like lived. And instead of like needing huge plantations to grow like tobacco, they just like grew food or whatever. And that's actually why the South developed slavery, was because like they could create these huge plantations with, and because like there's a lot of land for one, and two, all the cash crops that they grew well in the South. So like, yeah, that's like why slavery happened or it was like started in the South, because of like all these cash crops and stuff. But yeah, the Puritans, they focused less on these huge plantations and more on like crafts stuff, like artisan goods, like building ships, making baskets. Let's say they were more like artists, or well, not artists, but like they'd like more manufacturing is what kind of what I'm saying, but not like manufacturing yet. We get to that later in a we get to that later. I'll just say we get to that later and later date. But yeah, Puritans, they were doing their stuff. They had like small farms. Actually, at the time, there's a term for these small farmers. They're called yeomen. Uh, well, at the time, yeomen referred to like farmers who weren't, uh, slave owners. Um, but yeah. Also, I must say that although slavery wasn't as present in the North, there was still slavery in the North. Yeah, there the Puritans, they were like, they brought like a few slaves, not as much as the South, but like if there's like for every like 100 slaves in the South, there was maybe like one slave in the North. But yeah, that's mainly because, well, like they didn't really need it. Like, there's like small farms and stuff, but not really any, you know, you know what I'm saying. Um, Hold on. What is this called? Cut sandstone. Okay. But yeah, that's why slavery wasn't as present in the North. It's because there wasn't these huge farms, but instead more like a manufacturing society. Okay, but let's move on a little bit from the Puritans. So yeah, America, they're doing a thing. They're building up. More people start coming over from England. They're like, oh wow, uh, this is cool. Also, important thing to mention here is that England was poor at the time. It was really shitty. So people wanted to come over here, and voyage was dangerous. Um, it was not okay. I've done that wrong, but okay, but yeah, England. The voyage was dangerous. It was long, and it cost a lot of money. And if you didn't have that money, there's this thing called indentured servitude, where they would where you would like sign a piece of paper and say like I will work for you for like maybe for like 5 to 7 years, and at the end of these 5 to 7 years, I will be free. It was basically like slavery, but with extra steps. It wasn't complete slavery where you're like selling people and shit. It was more like, yeah, if you want to get from England to America, you're gonna have to, you know, do like service. So yeah, like these indentured servants, they were not treated as bad as the slaves, but they weren't treated well. They had a little more rights than the slaves at the time, but it was like marginally better. Like how do I put this? Like you wouldn't be worked to death. Actually no, you would be worked to death. But it was I don't know, but okay, so yeah, indentured servitude, not as bad as slavery, but still pretty bad. Um, though the main key difference between slavery and indentured servitude is that in indentured servitude you had the promise of, being freed at the end of it. Like not only were you freed, but you're also given like a bit of money to like buy land or whatever. And whereas in slavery, if you're a slave till you die, or unless your master frees you or whatever. But they probably won't free you, because why would they? But yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on in that time. Uh, we're gonna fast forward a little. But yeah. So like America's building up, and we got the 13 colonies, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, like the northern colonies, the middle colonies, southern colonies. But yeah, as those guys are building up, we eventually get 13. And now we're gonna get up to the French and Indian War, otherwise known as the 7 Years' War, which I like to think of as like the first like World War, because it really was. It was like World War Zero. Like you know how we have World War One, World War Two was like World War Zero. But yeah. So what happened was like it was fought over the Ohio River Valley. And well, I guess I'll give you one wild guess on where it was. Yeah, Ohio. But yeah, I know it's surprising that people would fight over Ohio, but yeah, they did. It was between the French and the British. Well, okay, it wasn't mainly fought over Ohio. I built that wrong. Damn it. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it wasn't mainly fought over Ohio, but that was kind of the reason. So at the time, there was England and France, the big two top dogs of Europe. At the time, they were like kind of equal in match. England had just started to become the big empire we know it as, or that it started to become in the 1800s, but they were getting their rise, and France at the time was the de facto big dog of Europe. But yeah, tensions, French and English, tensions. It finally boiled over, and the war happened. And but yeah, I call this World War Zero because it was not only fought in Europe, it was not only fought in America, but it was also fought in India and Asia and I think Africa. But yeah, it was fought all over, and it wasn't just between um, France and England. It was fought between the Prussians were involved, Austria was involved, the Portuguese were involved, Spain was involved, Russians were involved. Like all those big European powers we know were involved. That's why I call it World War 0 because everyone is involved. And it was like, once again, truly the first like major war between everyone. But yeah, that breaks out. Um, Britain wins, obviously, or yeah, Britain wins over France. They established themselves as the top dog of Europe, and this is important because Britain, or because war, I don't know if you know this, is quite costly. It costs the British a lot of money, and the British, they were in deep debt. So what they did was they were like, hey, they went up to the rich people. It was like, hey, can you help us finance this war? And then the rich people were like, yeah, sure, we'll help you. But now, after the war, the rich people are like, hey, we kind of want our money back. Can you give it to us? And they were like, yeah, hold on. We're gonna tax our people. So they're like, hey, or they went over to America. They were like, hey, America, we just saved you from this big war against the French. Can you pay and can you pay a little bit more taxes, like a bit higher taxes? And America was like, yeah, we'd like to, but we don't really want to. But that wasn't the British were like, hey, stop that, or pay your taxes. And America was like, no. But that wasn't the entire reason. Um, uh, the that wasn't the only reason for the colonists getting angry at the British. The British, they declaration or this proclamation, the Proclamation of 1763, which was like, hey, you cannot go any west past this line, and like, which is you cannot go past the Appalachian Mountain, which kind of angered a bunch of the colonists because what the English did in the war to entice people to sign up and fight was they were like, hey, we'll give you like, I don't know, like 10 acres if you go off and fight in this war. And people are like, oh yeah, cool. And so after the war, people are like, hey, government, can you give us these 10 acres? And they're like, yeah, sure. But problem. Um, they're kind of running out of land here, and the colonists, they wanted to go west. However, the English, they were like, hey, Native Americans, yeah, hi there. We're not, we're gonna promise not to go west. We're gonna draw this line. We're gonna tell our settlers not to go west, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, cool." Except for the settlers, they wanted to go west. That pissed off the settlers. They're like, "Hey, allow us to go west. There's not enough land out here. There wasn't enough land, but we want to go west, westward." Um, they're like, "We must go west," and English was like, "No," and that kind of made the settlers angry because they wanted to go west. But yes, now we get to 1700s, or not 17. We're already in 1700s. We're in the 1770s now. 1770s. As you know, this is when things started getting heated. The British were like, "Hey, we need money. Can you give us money in the form of taxes?" And America was like, "Ah, well, no." So the English, they're like, "You know what? Stamp tax." And America was like, hey, wait, no, what? No stamp taxi, we don't want you to do that. And Britain was like, get wrecked, nerd, we're doing the stamp tax anyway, and what are you gonna do about it? Actually, was stamp tax first? No, it was Townshend Acts. I think that was the first one. Yeah, the Townshend Acts. They're like, hey, pay us our money. And America got pissed, because that, like, taxed everything. Main reason America got pissed, or her colonists got pissed, was because they didn't have a say in it. Uh, uh, Parliament was like, hey, um, uh, we're gonna here pay these taxes, and Americans were like, what? No, we want representation. Hence, no taxation without representation. That's where that comes from, if you didn't know. But yeah, Americans were not too happy about this, and so eventually Parliament repealed this Townshend Act. But they were like, hey, we still need money. So then they put in the other acts, uh, and there I think the next one was like the sugar axe, I think, which was like, hey, you gotta pay um or gotta pay this tax on sugar, and Americans were like, no, no, we don't want to. This is unfair. We don't think it should happen, and Parliament repealed it. And then Parliament was like, okay, we still need a lot of money. We're still incredibly in debt. And so they were like, hey, Stamp Acts. And this was like major. This like placed a tax on anything paper made. So like if you wanted to like publish or like a deck of cards, if you wanted to sell a deck of cards, the British would stamp it, and bam, you'd have to pay a tax. Colonists once again did not like this, because no taxation without representation and all that. Um, Actually, hold on. I'm gonna put a quick pin in this, uh, because I think I finished this tower. I know it's like hollow, but I don't want to put things in there right now. But yeah, look at that. I finished the tower. Let's get a ground view of it. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that building. It's kind of standing all alone here. There's not many other tall buildings. Um, but in Stream's uh, future, I guess, I'll build more of over here. Um, or I might, and some streams I might not build. Well, I might build, but not have streams. But yeah. Yeah, that was today's stream. I don't know if I should continue, because this took me like 2 hours to build, and the next building might take me another 2 hours, and I don't want to be up at 10:30, because I actually like going to bed at a normal time, like 10-ish, though most of my friends don't for some reason. I like to go to bed at like 11, 12 or something. But yeah, I finished that building. It looks nice. I like that building. If you like that building, say something in chat. I know there's 5 of you here. Say something. Please, please, please. Also in chat, tell me if I should uh build more. If I should build another building. Cause I might. I might build another. Actually, hold on. I have an idea. Instead of building another building, I'll add. Oh, no, I don't want to do that right now. Um. I think I might end the stream here today. Should I end the stream today? Or not today. Well, I know I'm gonna end the stream today. I'm not ending it 1 in the morning tomorrow. Um, but should I end it now? Yeah, that's the question. Should I end it now? Um. Oh, sorry, Rain. You do go to bed at a normal time, at 9:30, which is normal. Sorry. It's more so. Yeah, I know you don't stay up late. I know this because during map games, you always have to be quiet, like halfway through the second video. Sorry, you are the exception to this rule. Um, I guess. I was more so referring to Liv, who has streams. Oh, okay, I should build more. Okay, I might build more. Okay, okay, fine. I'll get started on the next building. But first, I have to empty my inventory, and I'll do that by dumping it into this lava. Um, okay, yeah. Hold on, I have to first get all the blocks. Okay. So yeah. What blocks do I need? Let's go this way. Actually, which one am I? Oh, I'm building the gray one first. Okay. Um, I think. Am I? Am I building the gray one first? Looks it. Yes, I am building the gray one first. Ah. Yeah, I would watch your streams more. It's just that I like playing Minecraft. But yeah. There's only two other people in or there's only two people. Okay. The history rants will continue when I get the blocks I need and start building. Well, I just need to find out what blocks I need first. Because it's andesite, gray concrete. Gray concrete is here. Yeah, gray concrete. And then, damn it. Okay, I didn't have to throw the black panes away. Okay, so black panes. Looks like some white concrete in there. Oh, and I didn't have to throw the cobblestone wall away. Okay, maybe I should look at the blueprints of the next thing I build before throwing my items away. Okay, so we're on. Okay, it's down here. I think I passed it 2 times. Okay, so cobblestone walls. Also, is it just me, or is like the stream, or is my mic cutting out? Cause I have my I have my stream open so I can read chat, and I noticed that my voice isn't talking or like working. So if you can hear, if anyone but me, so I guess just Rain. So Rain, if you are list or either hearing this or not hearing this, um, please tell me if my audio is cutting out, because I think it might be. At least, and if it's not for you, then it's just a me problem, and my Wi-Fi sucks ass. Though I think my Wi-Fi sucks ass in general. But yeah, okay. I need stone brick stairs. And is that all? Okay, I also need uh smooth course. Okay, so you don't notice any issues, so it's just my shitty ass Wi-Fi. Okay, yeah, so it's just my Wi-Fi. Okay, amazing. So that means people aren't leaving because my stream quality is in the toilet. It's just that they don't like history or something. I don't know. But I noticed. But wait, is that too? Yeah, that's too dark. Um, light gray. Okay. Anyway, let's talk. Hold on. Let's talk more history. So where do I leave off? Oh yes, the acts that Parliament was enacting onto the poor colonists who probably actually should have paid the taxes, but it was less of a hey, um, uh, we don't want to pay the taxes, more like hey, you're doing this without our say. Could you give us a representative? And Parliament was like, no, go screw yourselves, which made colonists angry. But yeah, so I think I got to the Sugar Acts or Stamp Acts. Got to Stamp Acts. After the Stamp Acts were the Intolerable Acts. I think it was the Intolerable Acts. Might not have been. But yeah, I think it was the Intolerable Acts, and the Intolerable Acts, as you could probably guess, were intolerable. So this allowed wait, did I get these measurements wrong? No, I didn't. Okay, anyway. Yeah, the Intolerable Acts were not liked at all by the Americans. Um, so yeah. Wait, hold on. Is that just a block? That might just be a block. Okay, anyway. Sorry. I am looking at the blueprints for this. Okay, yeah, so the Intolerable Acts. This pissed off the colonists. Like, this was like overboard for them. They're like, you bastard, British swine. how dare you do this? So basically, the Intolerable Acts. This was like, okay, I'm trying to remember. This was like a while ago for me. But yeah, it was like the British, like soldiers can stay in your house. Um, you don't need, or yeah, you don't have a say on if they stay in your house. They can just like go in, stay in your house, and that pissed off the colonists. That was like too far, man. You don't just um stay in their house and like so yeah, that pissed off the colonists, and I think it included a lot more taxes that pissed off the colonists even more. But Parliament didn't care this time because they're like, you know what? You actually have to pay your taxes now. Stop being little bitches. But yeah, uh, so the Intolerable Acts really pissed off the colonists, and in I don't know what came first. I think it was the Boston Massacre. Yes, it was the Boston Massacre that came first. 1774, I think. It was either late 1774 or early 1774. Don't know, but in Boston, um, this crowd of colonists had gathered around um, a group of British soldiers, and they were hurling insults at them, as a drunken mob does. They're like, ah, fuck you, and they start, and yeah, they were basically heckling them, and then they actually wait, no, Boston Massacre came before the Intolerable Acts. That's why the Intolerable Acts happened, because Parliament put their foot down. They're like, how? Okay, you know what? This has gone way too far, man. Okay, so I'm sorry. My apologies. But yes. So yeah, Boston Massacre was like, hey. Um. So yeah, Boston Massacre. This group of drunken Bostonians gathered uh, around these British, and they were hurling insults, and eventually the hurling insults became hurling snowballs, and then snowballs became snowballs with rocks in them, and then it just became rocks and other on like hard things like oyster shells and whatnot. But yes, and then we don't know like or why the British soldiers began firing upon the crowd, but it was speculated that I think there's a few theories. Either that the soldiers were like they got scared and fired themselves, or they misheard their commander yelling or giving the orders to fire. Um, but one way or another, um, yeah, uh, the British troops fired upon uh the crowd and killed, I think, 5 people. Might have, I over under 5 people, I think. But yeah, over under 5 people died. One of them was Crispus Attucks, a free black man, um, who was in the North. But yeah, this led to the Intolerable Acts, and if you weren't here for that, I'm not explaining them again. But it was basically when Parliament was like, okay, we've been too nice, we've been too lenient. This this is the final straw. No more. You will pay these taxes. I do not care. But yeah, so Parliament put their foot down and put in the Intolerable Acts and pissed off the colonists. They're like, no, you can't do this, you jerks. And then in 1775, I believe, before like Lexington and Concord and all that, I think was the Boston Tea Party. And that's when a bunch of drunken Bostonians again um, this time, instead of gathering on a bunch of British troops, they put on a bunch of Indian war paint and dressed up as Indians, not the Asian Indians, the American Indians. They're like, you know what? And they're drunk and they broke into or they went to the Boston Harbor and they went onto ships and with hatchets and shit, and they started whacking open um, crates of tea, and they began to dump it in the Boston Harbor. I think they dumped in a total of I think it was like 5 million pounds worth of tea or something. I don't know. Fact check me on that. But yeah, it was a lot of tea. This really pissed off Parliament. They closed down the Boston Harbor for like a long time. They're like no trade whatsoever. This was because like why would you? That was like a big punishment because like everything that like Boston needed, like tea, like all the supplies and stuff, all the shit they needed, no more on decree of Parliament. And once again, this pissed off the colonists because why wouldn't it piss off the colonists? But yeah, hold on. Yeah, so pissed off the colonists, and then I think I'm gonna fast forward here a bit more, because once again, or because once again I don't know the in between. But yeah, fast forward. Actually, wait, no. Like a few months in 1775, I think, is when battles of Lexington and Concord happened with Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. I think that was in 1776, 1775. Hold on. Um, uh, Battle of Lexington and Concord date. It Hold on. It was 1775, April of 1775. But yes, these famous battles, also known as the shot heard around the world. This was when, so like, at this time, there's a bunch of like revolution at this point was inevitable. Like it was going to happen. And the British, like the colonists, they had started stockpiling like guns and ammunitions and all this stuff, and eventually, and they were like, and the British were like, hey, we got to stop this. So they found out about this supply house up in Lexington and Concord, and they were gonna like go up and take it. And like the Sons of Liberty found out about this, and uh, they were like they hung everyone knows this, I think, if you're an American at least. Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. The Old North Church that had they were like they had two lanterns, one if by land, two if by sea, and it was two by sea. Yes, it was two by sea. Uh, so they dispatched a bunch of riders, not just Paul Revere, but it was bunch of different riders who went up and down uh but the coast. Well, not just the coast, but like up like into Lexington and Concord. They're like and they didn't say the British were coming because at the time everyone was kind of British. It's kind of like being in California and like let's just say like California revolted and like the U.S. government was doing the same. It'd be like the same as saying like, oh, the Americans are coming, the Americans are coming. That's a bit redundant because everyone in California is an American, so it'd be easier to just like say, oh, the redcoats or like, oh, the U.S. government is coming, or like the feds are coming, the feds are coming. So they instead of saying oh, the British are coming, oh, the British are coming, they were like, oh, the redcoats were coming, the redcoats are coming, and stuff like that. So yeah, they a bunch of I think it was like maybe 4 or 5 riders. They went up to Boston, or not, they went from Boston to Lexington and conquered, and along the way they woke up a bunch of these Minutemen, which were they got their name because they as you know, it was like they were like able to be and they were like ready at a minute's notice, and so it was like hold on, I'm trying to look at the detail at the plans for my next building. But yeah, it was like they it was like they were they were ready at a minute's notice, like they got their coats on, they got their muskets ready, and yeah, as the riders went up towards Lexington and Concord, they woke up like thousands of Minutemen, and they were like, "Redcoats are coming! Redcoats are coming!" And that like sounded the alarm. Everyone was like, "Oh, okay, we gotta act! We gotta act!" And they were like getting their stuff on and stuff. They're getting ready, and they eventually formed like this huge militia. And by the time the British got to, I think, Lexington. By the time they got to Lexington, there was like a huge army, or army, and more of a militia, and the revolutionaries they fought back. They I don't. No one knows who fired first. I think it might have been the revolutionaries. But yeah, that's known as the shot heard around the world. Everyone in American history knows this. Shot heard around the world. But yeah, it it was big. It sparked the whole revolution. Uh, yes. Hold on. Oh, an anvil. I have that handy. But yeah. Um. Okay. So how many? But yeah. Battle of Lexington and Concord. That was like that. Like basically kickstarted the war. Um. As well as like being the first like battles of the war. It was like I'm not sure how to put this, but yeah, first battles of the war. Um, Later in 1776, Declaration of Independence, all of that. It was like saying to King George, "Hey, we can stop this if you allow us to have independence." And then King George was like, "No, go fuck yourself." So war happened, or well, yeah, war happened. So yeah. Um, okay. I would continue on with the revolution, but I don't entirely know like all the battles and stuff. Um, and as you know, with wars, battles are quite important if you want to know what's like going on. Um, but yeah. Trying to think here. Sorry. Yeah, I have 1776. So okay, I'm trying to remember here. I If I had learned this yesterday, I would be ranting, or not ranting, but I would be more clearly telling history of how it happened. But I did not learn this yesterday. Well, not learned, but like I guess relearned it or like re-went over it. But I'll just say learned, but I learned this more like 4 months ago, back in September. At the start of the semester, well, like not start, but like maybe like halfway through, or not halfway, maybe like month into the first semester. And that was a while ago, so I'm not too fresh on this stuff. Um, but yeah, I know the big battles, like Battle of Saratoga, Battle of Ticonderoga, um, battle or like Valley Forge, where Washington and his army stayed during the winters of the war. But yeah, I guess I'll just go over the battles. Oh, Battle of Trenton, I think. Christmas, 1776. Was that? Hold on. Battle of, or it wasn't battle. It was like when did, it was like when Washington crossed the river. When did Washington cross the Delaware? Um, yes, December or Christmas Day of 1776. That is when he, well, crossed the Delaware and surprised the British, and or not the British, the Prussians. I think it was the Prussians. Like the Prussian, God damn it, what are they called? Mercenaries, mercenaries. Yeah, we'll go with mercenaries because that's kind of what they were. They surprised the Prussian mercenaries who during the previous night had been drinking, uh, and having a Merry Christmas because, they didn't think the Americans were crazy enough to attack them on Christmas. Little did they know, Washington attacked them on Christmas because, you want to win battles, you gotta use the element of surprise a little bit. So yeah, Washington, he crossed the Delaware, he surrounded their encampment, and during the morning, when they woke up, the Prussians were like, holy shit, and they all surrendered, and Washington won. I think that was like the first major victory. Um, if this doesn't sound entirely right to you, I am majorly simplifying what happened. This is like the gist of it. But yeah. Uh, After that, I fast forward. I think when was Ticonderoga? Um, Battle. Hold on. Battle of Ticonderoga. Was that in 1775? Shit, that was in 1775. Okay, so the Battle of Ticonderoga, I think. Oh, so this Ticonderoga was with our good old everyone's favorite trader Benedict Arnold and the Green Mountain and Ethan Allen and that's when that was in New York. They surprised the British and oh no, they didn't surprise. I don't think. Oh yes, it was a surprise attack. Oh yes, the Hessians. Thank you, Rain. It was the Hessians, not the yeah. Thanks for that. I forgot what they were called, but yes, that the Hessians. That was battle or not Battle Trenton. I guess it was the Battle of Trenton, but that's when Washington crossed the Delaware and whatnot. But yes, thank you, Rain. But yes, Battle of Ticonderoga. That was with Benedict Arnold. That was like the first major like offensive victory for the colonists. Um, yeah. And I think was the other one? Oh yeah, Saratoga. Battle of Saratoga. What was that? 1777. Okay, so Battle of Saratoga, that was a really important one. And this is because um, this was the battle, I think, that won French support for the revolution. So before the revolution, France was like looking at them and was like, oh, cool, you're fighting the British. That's pretty cool and whatnot. Um, yeah, we're gonna look at we're gonna like look at you with interest, I guess. And then Battle of Saratoga happens, and they're like, "Oh, wow, you guys can fight." Um, and so yeah, and that like won them over, and brought France into the war, which is really important because France helped us a lot. Because in the beginning, the American forces were basically just a bunch of hillbillies with guns. They were not trained well. They were really poor at fighting. The only thing they were good at was hiding behind trees and shooting at the rows of British people. But yes, the Hessian, oh no, not the Hessians. Uh, when the French came in after the Battle of Saratoga, Marquis de Lafayette, hold on, Lafayette. Uh, yes, Marquis de Lafayette, the French guy. You guys may know this from the musical Hamilton. But yes, he came in and he trained up the American army, which is important because before the Americans were using silly tactics or well, not silly tactics, but crappy tactics that didn't entirely work. Like all the Americans were really doing was like hiding behind trees and shooting at them, as I think explained earlier. But yeah, that isn't really effective for long if you aren't trained well. But yeah. So they so Marquis de Lafayette, he came in, he trained up the Americans, and that's when they actually started winning a lot, which is cool. Winning wars, or like winning is good in a war. I don't need to tell you this, but yeah, this massively helped the Americans in their war. Now I think the revolution lasted until 1783, I believe. Um, after the Battle of when last Battle of Revolutionary War. I forgot what it was called. It's the Battle of Yorktown in Virginia. But that was in that was in 1781. Okay, so yeah, I know there's a few more. Yeah, we love guerrilla warfare here. Um, but yeah, I forgot what was, or like a lot of the battles between Saratoga and the end of the war, Battle of Yorktown. But yeah, not not only did the French help us in our noble or noble revolution against the smelly British, but our good friends Spain, well they weren't really friends, but the Spanish joined in. They're like, hey, we'll help you too. We'll help attack the western areas, and we'll also give you goods. And the one people don't really like remember or know about is that the Netherlands, they kind of helped us out a little bit. At the time, tiny old Netherlands that we know today, they were actually quite strong. They controlled the Spice Trade for a little bit. But yeah, Netherlands helped us. For But yeah, I'm gonna skip a lot of the revolution, uh, because or like until like the battle. Actually, oh, I forgot the Battle of Bunker Hill. How the hell did I forget the Battle of Bunker Hill? That was an important one, I think. But yeah, Battle of Bunker Hill. That happened in New York, I believe. That although it wasn't uh Bunker Hill, though it wasn't. They weren't fighting on Bunker Hill. They were fighting in another hill. I forgot what that hill was called, but it wasn't on Bunker Hill. It was on a different hill. But yeah, it was 1775. Against it was like the British. They were going up a hill. The Americans were on top of the hill. And this is where you may remember where that one guy said, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. And it was really and this was because the Americans didn't have a lot of ammo and they wanted to save it. So yeah, Bunker Hill, although it was a British victory, there were more British deaths than American deaths. So yeah, yeah. Um, so technically British technically won, although they lost a lot more men. I think it was like Americans lost like maybe like 300 men, where the British lost like 5,000. But yeah, not good metrics if you're fighting a war. But yeah, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. To like Battle of Yorktown. So okay, Battle of Yorktown I actually know a bit about. So this happened in Virginia, Yorktown, Virginia, and in Virginia, the British they were kind of trapped. The Americans and French forces were on land, and they were gonna leave. They were trying to escape Yorktown, by sea. However, the French Navy came in and was like, "Hey, um, you're not going anywhere, bud." So for like the next few either hours or days, I think it was hours, the French Navy absolutely blew the shit out of the British, and eventually, um, British surrendered, and that was like the final. That was like the final battle. Who? Oh yeah, it was Cornwallis who surrendered, and that was like the guy. But yeah, he surrenders, and that ends the revolution. I think. Hold on. Treaty of Paris. Although that was like the last battle, there wasn't a treaty signed until 1873. Treaty of Paris. Um, like 2 years later. But yeah. 2 years later, 1783, Treaty of Paris ends the war, and America is now a country. It's free, the first free nation or like free country in the Americas, if you're not counting the natives. Um, but yeah, it was like the first free nation, not counting the natives, I guess. Just how we don't count the natives when we say the first guy who discovered the North America. Um, yeah, anyway. Um, so yeah, America wins the war, and now we have to find out how the hell do we run a country? So these guys, so the founding fathers, they get in a room. They're like, hey, we should figure out how to run a country, because it occurs to us that we don't know how. So they're like, they write the Articles of Confederation. It was kind of like a proto constitution. It wasn't like the Constitution. It was kind of like it was like all right. It was like it was like the states were able to they had like more like say in how things ran than the government. Like it, but Articles of Confederation didn't really work. Like it wasn't like good. Like a bunch of it quickly led to a bunch of like uprisings and stuff happening. Like later, like maybe like 10, yeah, I don't know, but like sometime in like early or like late 18 or 1780s, there was this whiskey rebellion because the U.S. government was like, hey, we need some money, and at the time, whiskey was like the number one. Well, it was in like Pennsylvania. It was like the um money. It was basically used as money. Um, yeah, whiskey was used as money um, by like people in like East Western Pennsylvania. So and America or the new government taxed that, which pissed off the farmers, and they revolted, and then Washington had to take a huge ass army and like basically they just showed up. Really, they just showed up and like, hey, stop that, and then they did because they didn't want to fight the army. So yeah, it was evident that Articles of Confederation did not work at all. So the founding fathers they went back to the drawing room and they created the what we all know and love, the Constitution. Yeah, obviously I'm massively oversimplifying, but yeah, this is the gist of it. So yeah, I think in 18 or 1780 something, when was the Constitution signed? When was the Constitution written or ratified? And let's go with ratified. 1788. Yes. So they came up with the Constitution 1788, and they're like, okay, they're like, articles weren't working out, so they drafted up the Constitution. Like, yes, this will be what the piece of paper that the government goes off of. They then quickly realized that there should be some amendments. well, not quickly, like 5 years or 7 years later, in 1795, they were like, oh, this Constitution is missing some stuff that we should probably have. And so eventually, founding fathers are like, okay, let's add some amendments. The first 10 amendments are called the Bill of Rights. Um, the first one, as we should all know, was the right to free speech, the freedom of speech, press, petition. There's two more. Religion, and what was the other one? Was the other one? Was the other one? Um, First Amendment. Assembly, yes, assembly. It was the freedom of speech, religion, press, assembly, and petition. That was the first one. Second one, I'll give you three guesses. It was right to bear arms and maintain a well-regulated militia. This was to make sure that, like, no tyrant comes into power and like fuck shit up. And like, if someone does come into power that is a tyrant, you have the legal obligation to revolt. Something that we should learn today. But yes, moving on. Third one, it was the quartering one. It basically said that you cannot, or that soldiers are not allowed to be, or like to be quartered in your house. As you may remember from like half an hour ago, when the British um were quartering their people in houses, Americans got pissed at that. And I find it funny that they got so pissed that they had that be like the third amendment right underneath uh, freedom of speech and all that, and gun. We can go from freedom of speech, guns, can't have soldiers in your house, which I think is kind of funny. But yes, fourth one is the is unreasonable search and seizure. Basically, it was like went against it. I was like saying you can't have unreasonable search and seizures or unlawful search and seizures. I'm sorry, my bad. But yeah, it's like you cannot. You need like a warrant to like search and seize property, which is kind of important. And then the fifth one, everyone knows, or you probably know, it's like the Miranda rights. It's like I plead the fifth. That's basically saying um, it's like I remember it was double jeopardy. Uh, uh, fifth. Hold on. It was double jeopardy, which means you can't be tried if you're tried for something, and they find that you're not guilty. They can't go after that again. Self-incrimination, which is like anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Um, and then the third one I forgot. Um, but damn it. Um, I should know these because I am an A-push student and I take a test on these every so often. Although I haven't taken a test on the amendments in quite a while, actually. Um, but yeah, I'm pulling up the amendments sheet right now on my Canvas page. Um, Pages. Hold on, sorry. I'm not building anything. I'm explaining American history. And yes, all of what I've been saying for the past 2 hours, I think, will be on the test. So I hope you have been taking notes. But yes, okay. So yeah, due process. Forgot what that was. It's like I think it was like uh, you won't go like it can't be like, oh, the judge won't be like guilty, 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 and go through a bunch of uh cases super fast. But yeah, and then yeah, double jeopardy and self-incrimination, and then the Sixth Amendment is the right to a fair and speedy public trial. Seventh, right to trial by jury in civil cases, which means like if you're suing someone, you can't have a jury. Eighth is no excessive bail and fines or cruel and unusual punishment, which means like if you get arrested for petty theft, your bail isn't gonna be like $100,000. It's probably gonna be like maybe $100 or whatever. And cruel and unusual punishment is like if you get arrested for like petty theft, you're not gonna like be sentenced to like 5 weeks of hard labor. It's probably gonna be more like like maybe like 5 hour, maybe like a month or like 3 months of jail time or something. But yeah. Ninth is unenumerated rights are retained by the people. I forgot what this means, but it's very close to the 10th one, which is powers not mentioned in the Constitution are reserved by the states. And it's like anything not mentioned, and well, it's kind of self-explanatory, but anything that's not mentioned currently is retained by the people. I forgot what the unenumerated rights were. Um, but yeah, that's the Bill of Rights, first 10 amendments. We get to more later, and I mistakenly said that they were in 1791 when they were actually, or no, 1795 when they were actually in 1791. The one in 1795 was the 11th one, which was state sovereign immunity, which means citizens may file suits against states. But yeah. So yeah, now we're gonna go on to Washington. So Washington, he was like the main general of the war. Everyone loved him. When it came to elections, he got like I think 100% of the vote. Like everyone loved him. He was like Mr. America at the time. Like everyone loved him. But yeah. So like he won presidency, obviously, first president, and I think he is actually like the best, like the de facto best president. Because he actually like really like set or like established what the presidency would be. Like it's gonna be 2 terms. He only served 2 terms, mainly because he wanted to go back to his farm in Virginia. And there's the president only had a certain amount of powers, and he basically was like, yeah, this is how we're gonna do things. But yeah, Washington, greatest president in my opinion. Actually, no, not even my opinion, like everyone's opinion. He was like the best one. Way better than I think basically anyone. Yeah. So yeah, Washington, he won 2 terms, and then after 2 terms, instead of running a third term or establishing himself as a monarch, he fucked off to his farm in Virginia, which he had slaves. Yeah, if you didn't know this, he had slaves. But like, I think like half the founding fathers had slaves. Which I guess is like the unfortunate downside. It seems like every great like person in history has like a major downside. Like Washington had slaves. Uh, Abraham Lincoln didn't like the Native Americans. FDR sent the Japanese to internment camps. Um, yeah, all 3 were great presidents, weighed down by one stain on their legacy. Um, but yeah. Hold on, 1, 2, 4. Okay, so let's see. After Washington, oh yes, the election of. Hold on, John Adams. When was that election? 17. What was the presidential term? 1796. The election of 1796. This was between John Adams and our favorite boy Thomas Jefferson. So these 2 guys they hated each other. Oh Lord, did they hate each other? They were like basically enemies. But at the time, okay, so with I'm gonna go back here for a second. Washington, when he was elected, I think he was running against Adams, and then when Adams, inevitably lost, he became the vice president. And then when Adams won in the election of 1796, he was running against Jefferson, and then Jefferson became his VP. And I don't know if you know this, but if you have a VP who hates your guts, it's probably not a good thing because they don't want your things to be passed. So John Adams, he was a Federalist, and Thomas Jefferson was not. He was a Democratic Republican. Um, Washington was not. He strongly advised against political parties because he saw the danger of having the populace split